Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be doing Week 6 quarterback start or sit decisions for fantasy football in 2020. We are going to be discussing every single matchup from Sunday all the way until Monday night, even though there's 2 Monday night games, so we get a nice special there. Since there's no Thursday night this week because of how the NFL schedule ended up happening, the Bills were supposed to play the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday, but obviously the Bills played on Tuesday, so they're not going to play 2 days later on Thursday. That's the explanation for you guys. So before we get into this video, I'd like to ask that if at any point in this video you have a nice chuckle, you're having a great time, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. And real quick, before we get deep into it, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite place to play daily fantasy sports for fantasy football. Now, they do offer other sports, but I mainly focus on NFL. The site is simple. You go to the matchup shop. There's going to be a million games. Right now, there's only a couple because we're pretty far away from Sunday, but they offer a bunch of different games with spreads. Pretty much all it is who scores more fantasy points head-to-head plus the spread. It is very simple to figure out who scores more fantasy points on Sunday, Carson Wentz or Joe Burrow. Carson Wentz gets +2 fantasy points. Joe Burrow loses -2, and at the end of that, after you add the +2 and the -2, whoever scores more fantasy points ends up winning. It is that simple. You can bet on just one game, or you can parlay a bunch together, or bet on a bunch of them single and don't parlay them. You can do whatever you want. It is the easiest way to win money in daily fantasy sports. I really suggest you guys check this out. If you watch all my videos, if you do a lot of research yourself, it should be very easy to win some moolah on OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Let's get right into it. Week 6 quarterback start or sit decisions. We begin with the game that should have been last week, ends up getting moved to this week, the Broncos at the New England Patriots. Now, this game is going to look completely different to how it would have looked in week number 5 because Cam Newton is now practicing. He is going to be playing in this game up against the Denver Broncos. Now, I understand there may be some concern. Oh, Cam Newton's going to be rusty. Oh, this, oh, that. Well, last week I thought that was going to be true with Ryan Tannehill and friends in Tennessee not being able to practice, yada, 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 and they went balls deep in that Bills ass. So I'm not concerned at all about Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton's going to put up a big game here up against the Denver Broncos. Not the greatest team in the NFL. Now, in this one, I expect horsecock Drew Lock to make his triumphant return to the lineup. Does that really affect my start or sit decision? No, because I wouldn't have started any quarterback regardless. Up against the Patriots defense, I understand that likely Stephon Gilmore is not going to end up playing in this game, but that doesn't really kind of determine my feelings about it, considering I just feel like that Broncos offense just isn't all that good, and with Drew Lock coming back off the injury, I'm not 100% sure that he's even 100% healthy. Next game back here, we got the Houston Texans at the Les Titans. This in-division matchup should be interesting for the quarterback position. Now, Ryan Tannehill isn't necessarily some fucking gunslinger like Brett Favre or like Patrick Mahomes or like Matthew Stafford. He's not one of those kind of guys, but he's like Kirk Cousins if Kirk Cousins was actually a fucking good NFL quarterback, because he's making these reads, he's making great decisions. What he doesn't do is throw picks and fuck the Titans out of a game. He played very well up against the Buffalo Bills, and he's a very safe start this week up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They have J.J. Watt on the team, so that kind of elevates their status to the public perception of the Houston Texans defense. But in reality, J.J. Watt, as of recently, has been kind of fucking washed up. Not very good. And this Texans defense is absolute booty cheeks. And I expect Ryan Tannehill to go to town on them on Sunday. For Deshaun Watson, sure, he hasn't been all that amazing this year, but the fact is he lost DeAndre Hopkins going to the Arizona Cardinals. Bill O'Brien ends up getting fired, so they will look pretty good in this game, and I expect a top 5 performance this week out of Deshaun Watson. I expect this to be a higher scoring game because last week I think the Bills overlooked the Titans. Even I kind of did, thinking that the Titans, they haven't practiced. What you talking about? Practice? They didn't practice. They didn't do any of that shit, and they just mauled the Bills. They were going bang bus on their ass all Tuesday night. So it was very weird to see, but I don't think the Texans are going to overlook them. I think they're going to play hard here, go hard in the motherfucking paint in this game. So I like Deshaun Watson here to go hard up against Ryan Tannehill, and then both have a back and forth affair here on Sunday. Next game here, we got the not the Chicago Bears, the Cleveland Browns going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Baker Mayfield has announced that he's not a wuss. Mama didn't raise no wuss. He ends up getting hurt in the game up against the Indianapolis Colts and says he's going to play here on Sunday against the Steelers. Now, if this was any other matchup, I'd be pretty confident in Baker Mayfield. This guy has been riding high. He's been flying with the birds. Caw-caw, 4-1 here for the Cleveland Browns. The first time I've ever seen them look good in my whole entire life. With that said, Baker has looked good, but this defense is too tough. It's not Charmin Ultra Soft. This defense is going to be hard to break through, and I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to have much success in this game. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns won, but it will be not because Baker Mayfield's throwing 7,000 dimes. It's going to be because they somehow beat the Steelers' run defense, which is very fucking good. So I do worry about Baker in this game. For Big Ben, I like him in this one. This one is an AFC North matchup where you throw the kind of perception of the game out the window because both these teams always typically play good against each other, even in years past where the Browns' offense and defense were both completely and utterly shit. Shout out to Odell Beckham Jr. because he loves that shit. You like that, Kirk Cousins. But Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a big matchup here up against that Browns defense. I expect him to ball out just like he did last week up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Next game here, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles in the battle of the birds, and it's pretty clear which bird is better here, and for some reason, this is wide receivers. Now that it has been fixed, I like Lamar Jackson in this matchup. This Eagles team is just awful. Carson Wentz looks like a used fucking condom in the pocket. This guy looks like, I don't even know, whatever you would think of the worst quarterback in your head, Mitch Trubisky, that's what he looks like out there. This guy just has no, and I'm not even sure it's his fault because he really has no wide receivers. His best wide receiver is fucking this guy named Fulgham, who you've never even heard of in your life until this year. He has no one around him. Ertz sucks. This whole offense sucks, so it's very much trouble over there for the Eagles, so I don't think Carson Wentz puts up all that great of a game here up against the Ravens defense, and obviously Lamar Jackson is a must-start on a weekly basis. This isn't a scenario like up against the Chiefs where they get from behind and then Lamar Jackson chokes a fat dong because this guy can't win from behind. He can't hit it from the back. He just can't do that, but Lamar Jackson can hit it from the front, missionary style, all over that Eagles JJ. Next game here, we got the Washington football team at the New York football Giants. Now, this one is going to be a battle of the bottom of the NFC East, but actually, not the battle of the bottom. You know, that might sound like it would be, but it's not. Because the Cowboys suck, the Eagles suck, the Washington football team suck, the New York football Giants suck. This is the division of doom, the division of hell, where one of these teams may end up winning the division, and the Giants suck fat fucking hog, and they may end up winning this division. That's how bad it is. In this game, we're seeing Daniel Jones versus Kyle Allen / Alex Smith. For some reason, Riverboat Ron is sick of Dwayne Haskins' bullshit. He said, get the fuck out of here, and they're going to trade his ass. So with that said, it's going to be either Kyle Allen or Alex Smith. Neither of those guys really looked amazing in last week's matchup. Kyle Allen looked slightly better than Alex Smith, but I assume Alex Smith was shitting himself having to play quarterback again in the NFL after he probably had a Vietnam flashback in the pocket of his leg getting absolutely torn up in that game. I'm very proud of Alex Smith, obviously, for making it back. Huge props to him. But in this game, I don't like him for fantasy. Danny Dimes, this would be a matchup where he would do good. But then again, this is going to be an in-division matchup where it's just a fight back and forth that's probably going to end up being very low scoring. Next matchup here, we got the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Matt Ryan has been absolutely atrocious the last couple of weeks. This guy, oh man. No bueno, as they would say in Espanol for Matt Ryan. He has been doing so bad. And now they fire Dan Quinn. They fire the GM or the owner, one of those things. They say, get the fuck out of here. I think it was the GM. They're firing everyone there. And Matt Ryan is probably pissed off. He's going to try to eat a W like his name was Jameis Winston up against this Minnesota Vikings defense. We saw what Russell Wilson did to that Vikings defense on Sunday night. Now, I'm not expecting this game to really be super high scoring, but I think that Matt Ryan is always a guy you're going to want to play. Now, if Julio Jones is not healthy, or even if he's not healthy, as long as he's out there as a fucking decoy, I feel a lot more comfortable with Matt Ryan, because it seems like when Julio Jones isn't there, Matt Ryan plays like a chicken with his fucking head cut off. For Mr. Kirk Cousins, you like that? He looked very good last week up against the Seattle Seahawks. He wasn't making those typical Kirk Cousins decisions that he makes on a primetime game. Now, this is not a primetime game. This is a game up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, one of the worst teams in the NFL, and I expect Kirk Cousins to get a little bit sexual with that Falcons D, tease him a little, stick it in, and go absolutely ham-bony on that Falcons defense. Next game here, we got the Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Gardner Minshew going up against Matthew Stafford in this game. Now, the Minshewinator has looked on and off like a fucking light switch the last couple of weeks. Without DJ Chark, Gardner Minshew is kind of similar to Matt Ryan. Looks like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. Doesn't play as well. Now, this is a matchup where we're going to be seeing a lot of points on the board. A back-and-back or back and forth fuckage, back and forth. This game is not on CBS. It is going to be streamed on Brazzers. It is going to be a certified fucking of both defenses. It's going to end up on the hub after the game. So Gardner Minshew is going to end up with a solid point total here, as will Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has looked so much better. Another scenario of, to use the cliche, a chicken with his head cut off. Matthew Stafford looked like dick without Kenny Golladay, and now that Kenny Golladay has been back, he has looked much better, and up against a very young Jaguars defense that will improve in the future, but doesn't look so hot now. I expect this one to be a back-and-forth shootout in Jacksonville. I like both Minshew and Stafford. I'd prefer Minshew ever so slightly. Next game here, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Phillip Rivers takes his 12 kids to Indianapolis, and that's about the only useful thing he has done in Indianapolis is upped their population. Phillip Rivers looks like a pick machine. This man just, I don't know, maybe he's colorblind now that he's moved to Indianapolis, even though he was colorblind the last couple of years as he's gotten older in LA. This motherfucker's just throwing picks left and right. The game's on the line. Maybe Phillip Rivers makes a play. Psych! Interception, right? He throws it to the guy with the wrong fucking jersey on. I don't understand it. Phillip Rivers looks like shit. No way I'm starting him even up against the Cincinnati Bengals in what would be a plus matchup. Joe Burrow last week bent over, bent the fucking knee like his name was Jon Snow, and just let Lamar Jackson knight him, cut his fucking head off. It was brutal. But Joe Burrow will have a bounce-back game here up against the Indianapolis Colts. I don't expect something big because the Colts do have a good defense, but don't be surprised if Big Dick Joe puts up a nice game here after having a not-so-hot one last week. If you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Again, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. Next game here, we got the Chicago Bears and Big Dick Nicholas Foles going up against the Carolina Panthers. Call me crazy, but I think this one's going to be a nice matchup. 9-inch Nick versus Teddy Two Gloves. You're going to need two gloves to cover fucking Nick Foles' hog because he's going to go in here up against the Carolina Panthers. This is two teams that are actually pretty good. I expect this one to be a high-scoring game. Now, last week, I got hit with the Fugazi. I thought that the fucking Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, with the Panthers versus the Falcons. I thought the Falcons were going to fight back in that game, and in reality, the Falcons just got their ass fucked without the use of any lube in that matchup, and the Panthers looked very good. I expect the Bears to keep it close in this one. Teddy Bridgewater looked good last week. I don't expect as amazing of a game, but I think top 14, 15-ish play for both of these guys is in the books. I don't really see top 5 upside, though, for either of these quarterbacks. Next game here, we got the New York Football Jets at my Miami Dolphins in Hard Rock Cafe Stadium. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been on a roll. He's rolling, and he's going to roll right through the New York Football Jets and knock them down to 0-6. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been looking fantastic. He sliced and diced that 49ers defense like his name was Gordon fucking Ramsay, and there was no need for where the fuck is the lamb sauce in that matchup because he destroyed them. That was a terrible joke, just so you guys know. But here's a better one. He's going to make Adam Gase look like an idiot sandwich because Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to cook him up. Now, my only worry is that Ryan Fitzpatrick does this thing where he gets on this hot streak. He looks like he is going to be a world beater, and then the man just falls off the edge of the earth, and I worry this is the game for Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I hope it's not. The Jets defense sucks cock, sucks wiener, sucks PP, sucks it all. All right, he's so bad. The Jets are so bad. Joe Flacco is bad. Sammy Mano is bad. Adam Gase is bad. The whole fucking Jets organization is bad, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to go Hamboni against them because that defense is, you guessed it, B to the A to the D. Cool Joe. Joe Flacco actually looked okay up against the Arizona Cardinals. For some reason, they're sitting down Sammy Mano again. Maybe he was afraid of a ghost sighting in Miami. With that said, Joe Cool, not worthy of starting in your lineup. Next one here, we got the first, is this the Sunday night game? Maybe the Monday night game? I'm not too sure. There's 2 Monday night games, so this would be the Sunday night football matchup between the Green Bay Cheeseheads at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a good matchup. Now, I expect Aaron Rodgers to come home victorious in Tampa Bay, but I think this will be a close one, and maybe Brady will lose his dementia and figure out that it's actually not 4th down. So I expect Rodgers to put up a good matchup here with the return of Davante Adams in this game. Now, I don't think Tom Brady is going to be a schlub in this one and put up a low point total, but I do like Aaron Rodgers far more than I like Tom Brady in this matchup. I hope for Brady's sake that Chris Godwin ends up returning in this game. In my opinion, it's probably a 50-50 chance as of right now. Next game here, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this might actually be the Sunday night game. How many games we got left? We got 1, 2. Yeah, we have 2 more games left. I gave you guys a bit of a spoiler there, but it's okay. You definitely didn't pause the video so that you could skip the rest of it. The Rams here up against the San Francisco 49ers, the actual Sunday night football game. Jared Goff. All right, the problem with Jared Goff here is I love him against the 49ers because we just saw Fitzmagic ball on him. But the problem with Jared Goff is this guy either looks like the second coming of Patrick Mahomes, even though he's older than Patrick Mahomes, I believe. He was drafted before Patrick Mahomes. He either looks like Pat Mahomes, he looks like Aaron Rodgers, he looks like Tom Brady from the past, he's looking like old Drew Brees, he's looking like one of the better quarterbacks, looking like fucking Peyton Manning out there. But then other games, this guy's looking like Kissin' Titties Mitchell Trubisky. He's looking like Blake Bortles. He's looking like Mark fucking Sanchez, the goddamn Sanchez. That's what he looks like. He's either really good or really bad, and there's no in between for Jared Goff. So understand the risk when you put him in your lineup, but I'm going to risk it for the biscuit this week up against the 49ers. I love Goff in this matchup. I'm sitting down Jimmy Jesus, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy Pornstar, or Big Dick Beathard in this matchup. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo should sit. There's no reason why he should play up against the Miami Dolphins. He was hobbled. That ankle did not look correct. He was not planting his foot correctly so that he could throw the ball better. He was looking like a dumbass out there, and obviously it's because he was hurt. So why play in this game? Don't risk it, Jimmy. Wait a couple of games and then come back stronger, even if your team is out of the playoffs. Next game here, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills did get their ass destroyed by the Tennessee Titans. They got smacked up a little bit, like a baby coming out of their mother, and the doctor gives them the smack. That's what the Titans did to Josh Allen and friends. Now, Josh Allen didn't look all that good. He did throw a pick early in the game that wasn't even his fault. It kind of just bounced off the receiver's hands, flew backwards a little, has nothing to do with him. The second one, kind of his fault. But at the end of the day, he's going to have that bounce-back game this week. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. This is going to be my favorite game of the goddamn week. I love Josh Allen in this matchup, even though this game is being played far too early on Monday. Patrick Mahomes going to fire back. These guys may end up being the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks on the hell of a matchup on Monday night. And final game of the week, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, sadly, this is a game resulting in not having Dakota Prescott. Obviously, best of wishes to Dak. Hope he ends up okay. Hope Jerry Jones, that motherfucker, ends up paying him. With that said, I like both quarterbacks in this matchup. Now, Andy Dalton's like a top 15 guy. I don't really love him, but up against the Cardinals, we could see him spread the ball out. You get the ball. You get the ball. You all get the ball. Oprah Winfrey style. And Andy Dalton puts up a good one. But Kyler Murray, I expect to go to pound town on that Dallas Cowboys ass. All right, the Cowboys defense looks bad. They made Daniel Jones look good last week, and we've seen Danny Fumbles look atrocious so far this year, so I love Murray here to run all over the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Again, if you made it this far, you definitely ended up enjoying. I don't know how else you made it this far if you didn't enjoy, so please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. And I'll see you guys in a couple of hours with another banger of a video. Sleep tight. Don't let the bugs bite later tonight. Sadly, there's no Thursday night football. I still love you all. OverlayDFS.com. As always, stay safe. I love you all. Goodbye.